Hey everybody, I want to welcome you back to another episode of Westminster Wednesday, where each week we're looking at one of the questions from the Westminster Shorter Catechism, and we're exploring its meaning and its significance for our lives. Today we come to question number 10, and question number 10 asks, how did God create man? The answer is God created man, male and female, after his own image, in knowledge, righteousness, and holiness, with dominion over the creatures. Now, this question is so important because it reminds us of some fundamental truths about how we were created. If you want to live well, if you want to flourish in life, you have to understand how you were created, how you were designed. And this question tells us some fundamental truths about how we were created. First of all, it tells us that God created human beings in his image. This is what sets us apart from all the other creatures God made. All the other creatures God made are good, but only human beings are made in the image of God. And that means that we were created to reflect the character and the glory of God. It says that we were created in knowledge, which means we were created uniquely to be able to know God and have a relationship with him. It also says that we were created in righteousness and holiness, which means we were created to reflect the righteousness and holiness of God himself. Now we know that after the fall, human beings don't perfectly reflect God's righteousness or his holiness. But we were originally created to do that, and before the fall, we were free from unrighteousness, and we were free from sin, because this is the way God created us. Now, you need to understand that the fact that we were created in God's image has huge implications. It means that every single human being on this planet has inherent dignity and worth simply by nature of the fact that they are created in the image of God. Or to put it another way, human life is sacred because every single human life is stamped with the image of God himself. And this means that any effort to demean or destroy human lives is a direct assault on the Creator himself, because human beings are made in the image of God. That's the first big truth we see from this answer. Now, a second big truth we see here is that it also says God created human beings, male and female. This means that we were created uniquely as either one of two things, either male or female, and that both males and females are declared to be good and both reflect God's image. Now, we live in a world where there is an extreme amount of confusion when it comes to gender. In our world today, many people view gender as something not that is given by God, but that is self-chosen, that we can actually choose whatever gender we want to be. And furthermore, many people today say, if you don't like the gender that you find yourself to be, you can seek to change your gender. Well, the Bible says something very different. The Bible says that gender is not something that is self-chosen, but that it is ordained by God and it is given to us from our birth. And furthermore, God declares our gender, whether we are male or whether we are female, he declares it to be good. And therefore, to seek to change my gender would be to seek to take something God has declared good and to declare that it is not good. It is to reject the Creator's design and to instead embrace my own design. But God declares that human beings are created as male and female, and both male and female are good, and both male and female reflect his image. And therefore, rather than rejecting that design, we should strive to embrace his design for how he created us. So we see that God created human beings in his image, and he created us male and female. And then the third big truth we see from this question and answer is that he created us with dominion over the other creatures. Now, a lot of people get the wrong idea when they hear the word dominion. They think dominion means domination, and dominion does not mean that we have the license or permission to dominate the earth or to dominate or misuse and abuse other creatures. Rather, when God gave us dominion over the earth, he was entrusting us to be his creation stewards. God owns everything. The fullness of the earth and the heavens belong to him. But he gave human beings the unique responsibility to be his creation stewards. And that means it is our responsibility to steward the earth and to use it not for our own interests and purposes, but according to the Creator's interests and his purposes. Now, we live in a world today where this question and this answer are so desperately needed. This is such a relevant set of truths for our lives today, because we live in a world where people continually seek to degrade and demean and destroy other human lives. And we need the reminder that human beings are made in the image of God, and therefore all human beings are worthy of respect, that they have inherent dignity and worth. We live in a world, as I said, where there's an extreme amount of confusion when it comes to gender. And we need to be reminded that both male and female are good, that we are created in his image, and that gender is something that is God-given and not self-chosen, and we should embrace the Creator's design. And we live in a world where, unfortunately, many people seek to misuse and abuse the earth that God has given us. And we need to be reminded that we are his creation stewards, and we are called to use it according to his purposes and interests and not our own. As I said at the beginning of this video, living rightly and flourishing as human beings depends upon understanding how we were created in the first place. And question 11 helps us understand how exactly God created us and how he designed us to live as his creatures.